Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 with our lovely Polly. Hope part 1 was so entertaining that you are tuning back in. We are going to get into some nitty gritty now. So brace yourself, Polly. Right, okay. So first of all, I have been watching this season avidly, and yes, for Polly. And I've been taking note of everything that she said. And there's only been once, believe it or not, when I have gone, why would you say that? Okay. Polly, why did you say twist?
Oh,
you wanted Adam to like you, and then you said twist and pushed him away.
I know. Right, what it is because all of a sudden, I felt like I was getting nothing from Adam, and it was really hard. Like I was honestly trying to get blood from a stone, and it was like I don't know what I can do. I'm a lost cause here at the minute. And then Stephen walks in, and he's crying, and he's talking about his feelings, and he's telling people how he feels, and he's just in touch with his emotions and not afraid to show that they are the qualities that I wanted in Adam.
Okay.
Like I didn't want Stephen.
So you don't
make that very
Stephen.
Clear. No, it was nothing to do with switching the man. It was switching the emotional qualities, and that's again should have worded it better. Just to keep shooting myself in the foot. But it was more so the qualities that Stephen came in and showed me in 3 days that Adam didn't in 3 weeks, even though Adam had come on leaps and bounds from week 1.
Yeah.
That again, I just never kept going back to. I never kept thinking, you've come on so far from where you were.
Yeah, you were in a good place.
We were in such a good place. And then lo and behold, I mess it up.
And his little face when you told him. I'm so pleased he got to hear it from you because it would have been so much worse otherwise. Yeah. But he couldn't believe it.
It's because he thought I was joking, and I was like, no. And as soon as I said no, and he kind of, the penny dropped for him, I was like, oh, God. But I will say, if it took that to make him realise and to show me that he liked me as much as he did, and he didn't actually quite realise that, then I would do it again.
Okay.
Because if that's what it took to get him to be like, oh, okay, well, that's not what I want because I want you to be with me.
Yeah.
And for me to actually see some emotion come from him, whether that's anger, sadness or joy.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
You're giving me something now. Do you know what I mean?
So you're saying if you had that question at that time again, you would still say twist?
Yeah. Wow. Because he showed me how he felt about me in that moment. And I genuinely believe that I wouldn't have got to have seen that if I would have said stick.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would, I stick with it. I would say it if it means that was his way of finally expressing how he felt about me, that he also needed as well to realise, hang on a minute, I actually really do like her. Like, what am I doing? I do need to pull my finger out my arse.
Yeah.
Then I would, But it was not because of the man. It was the qualities that Stephen had that I wanted Adam to have.
Okay.
And I would not have traded Adam for anyone.
Okay.
I wouldn't have.
Good to know. This is a really cute question from one of our followers, and they said, what is your biggest quirk that your friends and family find funny or cute? Because we're seeing some of the bad sides, and we're talking about them today, about your impulsivity and your words and things. But what is it that people love about you, Polly?
Just my sense of humour.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm quite funny. I think I'm quite funny. No, I just say stupid stuff, or I say stuff that people don't think about. Yeah. And it's like, I think when it rains sometimes, how long it actually has taken the rain to fall from the clouds.
Okay.
Like it could have been raining 2 days ago, but it's only now just fallen because of how high the clouds are. Do you know what I mean? And I come out of it over dinner eating sausage and mash, and my mum's like, we're watching EastEnders. Like, what is going on up there? But no, I'm quite funny.
Okay. Yeah. Did Adam like his sense of humour? Did he get that about you as well?
Yeah, we had really good banter. He understood me, which was, as we both know, sometimes a bit bitty and stern and sarcastic.
Yeah.
And I understood his really crappy banter that he found hilarious.
Okay.
But I found it funny because he found it so funny.
Yeah.
So, we bounced off each other. And we've said multiple times, like, we felt like we were the man and woman version of each other. Because we just got each other, It was good. But
so for that reason, it sounds like you were quite compatible then.
Yeah, 100%. I can really, really see why we were put together.
Okay.
Really, really see why we were put together.
Had you lived with a guy before this experiment?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you
I'd lived with a partner, but he hadn't.
He hadn't.
Yeah, he hadn't. So for him, I think it was a case of like, because he lives on his own, he's got his own house.
Yeah.
He's very much used to like living and tidying up for himself and not doing anything for someone. But he actually adapted to it really well.
Oh.
Really, really well. Like dinners, washing.
Yeah.
I had a cup of tea and a bath run for me every morning.
Oh,
He
and
would
they
do the
don't show
breakfast.
these
No,
things.
I know. He would do breakfasts. We'd go out for lunch. I think I only done dinner twice. But he, yeah, I mean, making the bed, sorting out shoes and stuff. It was like he had lived with someone before. We had no problem living together at all.
Wow.
I mean, he said that I was a bit messy sometimes. Like the bathroom was a state half the time because all of my hair and makeup stuff were in there. But yeah, he was really good. Really, really good. But it's definitely like he'd lived with someone before.
Wow.
But yeah, we lived together really well.
Okay.
Which I'm very grateful for.
Yeah. It could have been completely different.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You could have had a child that you were moving
no,
in with.
it could have been like a housemate from hell type situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really good.
That's
really
nice. You look very different now to how you are on the camera, on your stories. Well, a few days ago from when we were filming, you said you've hit your target.
Yep.
What's your secret? What have you been up to?
So when we finished filming, I didn't have a job to go back to because I knew that going back into education wasn't really going to be the best move because of obviously the type of show it was. It wasn't to say that I would have been shunned. It was more so because I knew the type of students and the parents.
Yeah.
I was just like, it's
so
just
what
going
were
to
you
be
doing
unprofessional.
before the show?
So I was a careers advisor.
In a school?
In a college.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
in a college. And I just thought it's going to be too much for me trying to separate the two when I know that they're going to be watching, they're going to be talking about it. It would have been too unprofessional. So it was really hard to try and find a job, and I was just with loads of agencies. So because of that, I was going to the gym nearly every day because I had nothing else to do, sometimes twice a day. And it was genuine. It was going to the gym, walking the dog, and just eating less. And I really think that's helped because I've maintained it. I feel a lot better. Like overall, feel and look a lot better.
Did you get the fitness bug?
Yeah, I did hugely. And it helped having that 6 weeks not in work because if I would have gone straight back into work, it wouldn't have happened.
You could have been sat at a desk. And
exactly. But I think it really, really helped actually kickstart it for me.
Okay.
Because it's done me the world of good.
And you're still keeping up with that fitness
regime? Yeah, I go to the gym on my lunch at work. Because obviously it's winter now, so it's dark. So I try and go for half hour on my lunch, walk the dogs.
Okay.
I do Pilates on a Monday and Friday.
Yeah.
So I do really, because now I'm at the shape that I've wanted to be or the size that I've wanted to be for so long where it's been so hard to get rid of, I do need to keep it up. And I know that it's hard to maintain it, but just keeping on top of it. And I'm really lucky that I've actually got the time to keep on top of it and I make time for it as well.
Well, the motivation. Yeah. Motivation's the hardest part, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. But I think when you're at the size that you want to be and you want to maintain that, you will find a way to.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you just plateau and you just go back to how you were and then it's just all pointless.
Because I don't think people realise filming finished 6 months ago. So you've had 6 months of 5 months of waiting around for this all to air.
Yeah.
5 months of twiddling your thumbs.
Yeah.
And then people are expecting you to be walking down the street looking like you are
exactly
on camera.
The same. Yeah.
And you have changed.
And it's hard as well though, because a lot of people from obviously the early episodes, a lot of people think it was because of Adam, and it's
because
not.
Of the petite
because
brunette
of the petite brunette, dark features, and it wasn't.
Okay.
And that's what I didn't like is that I was getting a lot of stick for losing the weight and changing my hair colour. Even though I went blonder and not dark, and it wouldn't make sense if I went dark, and I didn't. But a lot of people were like, I hope you've done this for yourself, and it wasn't because of him and this, that, and the other. And I was like, no, it wasn't. It was because of, I didn't have a job. I had nothing to do.
Yeah.
I had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
But I also would never have changed myself for a man. Everything that I've got done and do and still do is very much for myself. Like very much for myself. And if I cared that much about it, I would have done something about it when we were filming. And I didn't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not like I left and then had this huge realisation of, oh my God, I need to change exactly how I am.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that I was out of work and I had nothing else to do.
So it's not a reaction as well to the body shamers and the trolls that you are getting online.
Yeah, no.
It's just
not a reaction
kind
to
of
that at all.
running in parallel.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. How do you react to some of those trolls that are online and some of the comments, because you are getting opinions based on what people have seen and perhaps what you have said and your actions, but and I'm going to say this on camera, there is no excuse for people picking apart people's appearance. You know, we work in a place here where we see women in their underwear and we have to empower them. And I really believe in empowering women and women sort of holding up each other's crowns and not knocking them off. And it is heartbreaking, actually. And it's not just you, it's all the girls that have had comments made on your fashion, your looks, from people that you don't know.
Yeah. I think for me, one of the best things I done was leave all of those groups, turn all of my message requests off and turn my comments off.
Yeah.
And since doing that about 2 weeks ago, I've slept like a baby.
Okay.
Honestly, I think if you can't see it, it can't bother me.
Because you as an individual aren't going to tackle that whole mountain of comments. It was getting to a point where it was a joke, and I didn't realise that I could actually turn my message requests off, but I had to do it on my laptop. Right. Because obviously on your laptop you've got more settings on your Instagram that you can see that are more advanced. Well, that's a good tip.
And I was going on there, do it on a desktop because you can turn it off and it's so much better.
Okay.
But I was going through them and just deleting them in bulk because obviously where it's now a business page, obviously the only people that were in my main inbox were people that I spoke to daily.
Yeah.
And the rest of them would just go into there, and it was just, I'll be honest, it was making my phone go slower. So I was like, there has to be a way around this. There has to be a way around this. And I'd done it one day when I was on my laptop and I was like, oh, what a touch. And then obviously it's hit and miss with what episodes you get from when you know when you can turn your comments off and when you can turn them on.
Have you been watching religiously every night?
Yes. Yeah, we have to because we haven't seen it. A lot of people think that we see it before and we don't. We are seeing it as it's on. We get a briefing the day before or the day of what's going to happen for us in that episode. So if it's a bit rough, they'll say like, look, just to make you aware, this is happening tonight, stay off of social media, turn everything off, like make sure that you're watching it with someone. Yeah. Or they'll say it's a really good episode for you tonight, like I didn't really need to ring you, it's funny, like it's a good one. They might be looked at like this, you make a funny comment here. Okay. But that's all. We do not see anything before you do.
Well, and I'm guessing, you know, you might think, oh, maybe Polly gets to watch Adam's interviews and stuff, but you're not. You're completely separate. So you are seeing a lot of stuff for the first time.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
fresh
my God,
eyes, just like we are.
Yeah, I talk to him sometimes and I'm like, well, you didn't tell me you said that. Because obviously when we come home from doing these Voxes, it's like, oh, so what did they ask? And we have a conversation about what type of stuff they asked and stuff. But obviously your answers are very vague because obviously depending on how we are, it's like, well, I don't want to tell you that I've slagged you off a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you're never going to repeat something word for word.
No, exactly. But I just think, there's been, and I mean, it's same as him as well. I've probably said stuff in Voxes that he's like, oh, no, I didn't know you felt like that. Oh, I didn't know you said that. But it's the same. Do you know what I mean? We've all said stuff in the heat of the moment. And they are so long as well that sometimes you could make a jokey comment and it's put over something completely different. Yeah. So you just don't know what's going to be put over what. Okay. But there's been certain things that I'm like, oh God, I hope they don't show that. And at the minute, touch wood, they haven't said anything that I didn't want to be aired. Because sometimes it is a bit of a tongue-in-cheek comment where it is a bit of a bitchy comment where you're a bit aggy and you're just a bit in one of those moods and it's like, I don't care what I say. But luckily, none of them have actually been shown for me yet. Yeah.
I can tell you now, they have for other people.
Oh, no, I know.
There have been, especially with the girls, when you think, oh, someone got out of bed the wrong side, or maybe there's something going on there that we're not being privy to, because there is so much that's being filmed. They must have hours and hours and hours of content.
Yeah. Oh, 100%, because those Voxes alone are 45 minutes to an hour. Like when we'd finish that scene in the morning.
A day?
Yeah, a day. Like I'd get taken off or he'd get taken off and I'd then clean the apartment or do some washing and then he'd get back and then I'd go. So they're long. And it's basically like an hour's conversation and you don't know what they're going to pick out of that. Yeah. Like you walk out of that room and you can't remember what you said because it was just so long and so in depth that everything that you've just said, you're like, oh shit, I can't actually remember what I just spoke about.
I imagine as well, sometimes they're asking you questions and you're just saying stuff to fill time.
Yeah. Or you're answering it because it's a bit of a silly question and sometimes they do ask you a bit of a stupid question and you answer it in like a sarky way that's what they show. Even though when you're in that moment, you think, oh, you're just asking me to take the piss. Yeah. When in actual fact, they know why they're asking you that question. They just have to then think of what they can put that over. Yeah. So they're very clever. They're very clever, but it's entertainment, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And that's ultimately what it's for. They've got a job to do and we're just the puppets.
So do you think, and this is the last question on this part, do you think you signed up to a program about love or a program about entertainment?
Oh, that's really hard. For this series, I wish it was for love, but I would say as a viewer, it's sheer entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
But I wish it was different. But just with how things have played out and what's happened with certain couples, it has been, you can't say that it hasn't been entertainment. It's been like a series of Geordie Shore, for Christ's sake.
It really has.
Like, it's been mental. And unfortunately, I think the penny started to drop for me in like week 2. Like, I'd say the week after the honeymoon, where I was like, we and other people should have left a lot sooner.
Okay.
Should have left a lot sooner. But you don't, because you're just so wrapped up in it. But watching it back, I've even... Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we haven't seen the end of the season yet. We don't know who's sort of going to make it to the end or who has gone beyond the end of the season.
Yeah.
But if you did apply for the right reason, you will want to give it your best shot.
100%. And I think everyone did at the beginning, but then it starts to come to a point where it's like, what am I doing?
Okay.
Like, what are we doing? Because if this was real, we would not be in this position.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to get out of that, because you think, oh no, now I don't know any different than being with this person. I have to make it work.
Yeah.
Because we've come on here and we've been put together, and I want to be with you. We're together for a reason, so it's working whether you like it or not. And that's very much what you're in. That's very much the headspace that you're in. Whereas watching it back, I'm just thinking, Polly, like, you idiot, like, what are you doing? Or why did I say that? Or why have I let that happen? Or why haven't I voiced that? It's not until you watch it back like an overprotective friend, but to yourself, and you're like, oh, if I was my friend on telly, I'd be like, what on earth are you doing?
Really?
Yeah. But that is what you do when you really like someone. Because how many times have we been in positions with our friends that continue to stay with someone that we know aren't necessarily good for each other, but still try and make it work because they do love each other, and you're just like, oh, whatever, just past the point of help. And I feel like that's where I was, because I was just like, I'm so into you. I don't want anyone else's opinion, because I will make this work.
You've also got the other person going exactly the same.
Yeah.
Let's stay in this, let's do this.
And when you've got someone that's on the receiving end, that is genuinely showing you that they want to work on it as well, and that they're staying every week, and the conversation isn't even had of, are we staying or are we leaving?
Yeah.
It is a case of like, no, this will work. There will be a way of making this work.
On that bombshell, the next part 3, is actually going to air after the end of the season.
The anticipation.
When we know what has happened with Polly and Adam and the others. So make sure that you stay tuned for that, and we will be back very soon.